Good morning, students. Today I'll be taking the third lesson, The Little Girl. Now, hope you have finished all your rest of the notes, and every Thursday notes is being sent to you. I need update notes. One day I will check it in online since your online classes are started already. Tomorrow there will be an online class so that I can meet all of you. So one day I will separately keep for checking your notes, and all the grammar you have to write in a grammar notebook. Then the next thing is the little girl. We are going to see the third lesson. This lesson is about, and this is written by Katherine Mansfield, a great writer. Now I'll give you about the author also. Before that, a small introduction about the title. She always writes about the feelings of small children. So in this lesson, she is written about the girl, the small little girl's feeling about her father, how he was a terrified one. Now, let me tell you about the author. The author is Katherine Mansfield, and she was born in 14th October 1888, and she expired in 9th January 1923. Her full name is Katherine Mansfield Beauchamp Murray. Okay? So you have to pronounce as Beauchamp Murray. All that is not needed for this. In your book, it's only given as Katherine Mansfield. You can see a picture also. Now let me go to the summary. Now, here about the author it is given. If you want further details, you can read the details which I have given about the author, about her pen name, about her spouse, all that, born on 14th October. And then when she died, her pen name Katherine Mansfield, nationality of New Zealand, literary movement, modernism she has been writing about. And then she was a spouse, and George Bowden, John Middleton Murray, all that. And partner Idea Constancy Baker she was. So she has excelled in so many fields, writing about children. So she is one of the what? Authoress, you should say. She's not an author, she's an authoress since she's a lady. Here in this lesson, she's again expressing about a small girl only. Not a boy, but a girl. Now here, how that girl has been longing, the internal feelings of a girl, and how she expects her parents to be with her, and how her feelings are totally smashed by not the mother but the father. So here she is highlighting in this lesson about how a father should be very conserved, very lovable, affectionate, and how nice, and how a father should always be to a child. That too, a girl child will expect too much of things from a girl child, I mean from the father. You know very well because you people will be much attached, girls especially, you will be attached with fathers, that is psychology, and boys will be attached with mother. Yes or no? Sometimes we will feel very bad if you can't see your father for one day also, we will feel very bad, all the girls. And they'll have a heavy heart when they're going away from the house, all that is there. Now we'll get into the lesson, no more stories. Now it's a short story, this is summary, written by Katherine Mansfield. Now it depicts around a little girl named Kezia. When her father used to get back from job, she used to remove her boots. So this is the summary I'm giving you. She has a problem of stutter only when she talked to her father. Stutter means slightly she is aback. She's not too close with her father. Only when she talked to her father, one day her father was set for the speech to Port Authority Board. Port, you know very well, the harbor. So he was the head of that, and he prepared some speeches, but he could not find the speech. Why? Because Kezia has used that to fill the pin cushion. She wanted to make a cushion and give it to her father. You know what's a cushion, right? You have to make a bag like thing and stuff so many things inside so that it will make a soft, short pillow. And she was planning to gift that for her father. Mistakenly, she has taken all the speeches of her father and she has stuffed that inside the cushion which she has prepared with a beautiful velvet cloth. But that was to show her love for the father. But the father again got furiated. He was not, I mean, his anger was not subdued by seeing the gift, a loving gift from a small, tiny daughter. Instead, he was very furiated because the next day he has to give a speech on the port board. But this, all the main papers were missing. So he got very angry. And after that, he shouted at her. Then one fine day, what happened? The mother was hospitalized. Mother was hospitalized, and Kezia was left alone at home with the cook who was cooking for their home. And she said, I'm very scared mummy is not there, because she has the habit of sleeping with mother. You all have the habit, right? So what happened was, she is dreaming about a knife, a butcher, and a rope, and she's screaming. Only the father. So there lived a McDonald's family in their neighborhood. She was surprised to see how their father loves and cares. That is, in the neighbor, she was able to see so much of love and care between the father and the children, about his children, and they had no fear of him. A sudden change of event happened when her mother gets sick. So again, that's what I was been telling you before. Suddenly her mother gets sick. So she's left alone, and she goes to her father for comfort. She's left alone at home with the cook, and she is dreaming about all this, and she's explaining that to the cook. See, I have if something happens to me, what will happen? I'm very scared, all that. But he's saying, you just go to sleep. Now see, she goes to her father for comfort. She came to know he was not able to give time to the family because of his busy schedule. That day only she's understanding her father. Why he was not close to her? Because he was very much indulged in the works, in his job. He was very conscious and sincere. That is why. So this shows how children expect their parents to be with their own strengths and weaknesses. So you have to keep, the parents have to keep aside everything and spend time for the child. But that was missing in Kizia's father. So she was talking about her dream, everything, to the cook. So she dreamt, she had a nightmare. Nightmare means dream. She has dreamt about what, a butcher, a knife, and a rope, I told you. So Kezia screamed, and her father woke up. So he takes her to his bedroom and makes her lie down with him. And what happens after that, we will see. Okay. So now let me start your lesson. The little girl. Do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Perhaps you now understand the reason for that used some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. So this story about a little girl whose feelings for her father changed from fear to understanding will probably find an excuse echo in every home. Now, see here, we'll get into the lesson line by line. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared. Figure to be feared means a person to be feared about, means scared of the father. Some children, they are really scared of father. Some will pretend as though they are scared. Now, this girl is really scared, figure to be feared and avoided. So, she wants to avoid her father. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss. So, as all the fathers do, even your fathers do, I suppose, he goes and gives a kiss for her daughter. To which she responded with, Goodbye, father. So, she used to say, Bye, father. And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter. Means when a thing goes far now, suppose your father is starting a bike, you can hear the bike sound clearly near your house. As he goes, as he is moving on the road, it goes fainter and fainter, means you can't hear it. So down the long road, so she's so happy, she'll run and come that the father has already left the house. She wants to be free. So in the evening when he came home, she stood near the staircase steps, and heard his loud voice in the hall. So she's upstairs and the father is downstairs. In the evening when he comes, she was able to hear the loud voice of the father. Bring my tea into the drawing room. So he's saying, bring my tea into drawing room, the hall of your house. Hasn't the paper come yet? He's asking for newspaper. Mother, go and see if my papers are out there and bring me my slippers. So all that he's asking the mother to do. Kezia, mother would call her. So mother is calling. Kezia, come here. Maybe she is out of some work. So if you are a good girl, You can come down and take off father's boots. So if you're a good girl, come down and take father's boots, remove his shoes. Slowly, the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly, still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. She came down. By the time he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. So he has to keep the spectacles and stare at her. Well, Kizia, hurry up and pull off those boots and take them outside. Have you been good girl today? Hope you understood this line. It's in very simple English. I don't know, father. Now she's saying, you don't know? If you shudder like that, shudder means if you are shivering and scared like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. You are abnormal child, you are doing like abnormal child, so mother has to take you. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father. She's not scared of other people, but she's scared of only her father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. Even the words are slipping out. So what's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about, means so scared about, mother? I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. So he's saying she's fearing and very scared in her face, as though she's going to attempt an suicide. So here, Kizia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. So he's saying, take the teacup and keep it on the table. He was so big. So because the child is fearful, she's having a fearful structure of the daddy in her mind. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth, when he yawned. So all this a clear picture of the father in a close-up. So thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. Look at this, very ironic. And on Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with the father and mother. From this line, we can understand that the child was a poor one, and she was the weekday she was not able to meet. So Sundays, her grandmother was very peculiar that she has to come to the hall, meet father and mother, and have words with them. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa. So on Sundays also she was not able to mix with father and the parents, because mother was always reading a book and father was lying down on the sofa. You can see in the picture. So his handkerchief on his face. He didn't even show his face because she can have a close-up look of him. His feet on one of the best cushions. So he used to keep his legs on the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. Snoring, most of the people have snoring problem, means shouting during the sleep. And mothers are getting angry because of that. And so many, if you see, they will divorce the husband because of snoring. So like that, it is very bad. You can see in the picture, the little girl always found mother, father reading and stretched on the sofa. Now see, she sat on a stool. Gravely, who? Kezia. Gravely means very fixedly. Watched him until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. So he used to wake up and he's not bothered that he used to spend time with the child. And then he'll stretch his hands and legs. When we get up from the bed, we stretch ourselves. And she looked at him. He used to look at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. So the father is saying to the daughter who is waiting with anxiety to talk to her father, he's saying, don't look at me like that. You are staring at me. When you stare, you look like a owl. Owl, the bird, the terrific bird of the night. So one day, when she was kept indoors with cold, so she was feeling very cold, grandmother was keeping her inside. What happened was, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. So she gave a yellow silk cloth and she said, you make a cushion out of this and give it to your father. He'll be very happy. And then laboriously means with lot of effort and difficulty. You must understand, because he's a small girl. But what to fill it with? So she's thinking, okay, I made a cushion. Now I have to fill in that. Then only it look like a pillow. So that was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps, means old cloths. So on the bedside, she discovered, wandered into means went into by chance. And then she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper. So she was able to see only fine papers, gathered them up and tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case. Case means the cushion cloth, I'm sorry, the velvet cloth, then sewed it up. Sewed means stitched up the fourth side. That night there was a hue and a cry in the house. Hue means scream, angry protest, shouting. Suppose if your favorable thing is missing, we used to shout with anger. That's called hue and cry. Sorry, in the house. Father's great speech for the port authority had been lost. What was the confusion? The speech which father has prepared and kept was lost. So rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally, mother came into Kizia's room. So everything, we upset the whole house, right? We'll ask everybody, did you see? Did you see? Like that, father was full of furiated. And Kizia, I suppose you didn't see some paper on a table in our room. So she is asking, did you see any paper on the room? Oh, yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. So she's getting into a low pitch because she's scared. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. So she's pulling her down to the dining room. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro. Pacing means moving. He was walking to and fro here and there, hands behind his back, so he's tensed. Well, he said sharply. Mother explained. So when they went down, well means what do you want to say? Why you are here? So mother started explaining. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? He's asking, did you do that? No, 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 she whispered. Means she's scared. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn things. So he's saying, go and fetch all the idiotic things Kizia has kept in her room. You may find the papers. Father is saying, see that the child's put to bed this instant and don't make her stand in front of my eye. Put her on the bed and let her sleep. So you should understand how cruel the father is. Maybe he's not cruel by heart, but he is burdened with his office schedule, office works. Like that only your father also, a lovable one. Once when he shows his anger, see, they are also humans. They have to show their anger out. And they have no other people except the home people at home, the mother, the children, only to express their anger. They also have to express, or else they'll get a heart attack. Now, crying too much to explain, she started crying to explain. She lay in the shadowed room, watching the evening night make a sad little pattern on the floor. So you know the shadow is falling. The evening is falling means the sun light will fall and it will start fading right inside your room through the window. That she was watching. Then father came into the room with the ruler in his hands. So he came with the ruler in his hands. I am going to treat you for this. So he's saying, I'm going to beat you for what you have torn my important papers. Okay. He said, oh no, no, she screamed. She's saying, oh no, 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 I did not do wantedly. Hiding her under the bedclothes. She went in, she wanted to get into the bedcloth and hide herself. He pulled them aside. He pulled all the bed sheets aside. Sit up, he said. Sit straight, he ordered, and hold out your hands. So hold out your hands, she's saying. He is saying, you must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. So he's saying you should know your limits. You should not get into my room darefully and touch the things there. So if I give one on your hand, that will teach you a lesson. That's what the father is saying. Hope your father is not like that. But it was for your birthday. She's very scared and she's saying, but father, it was for your birthday. I just wanted to show my love for you. So down came the ruler on her little pink palms. So whatever she was trying to convince, the father gave one shot on the small little, see, look at the beautiful expression, her little pink palms. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, so grandmother felt pity about her. She wrapped her in a shawl and put her on her chest on the easy chair, and the child clung to her soft body. So she was lying on grandma. So she had love only for grandma. Most of you, I hope you have so much love for your grandmother. What did God make fathers for? She shouted. I'm sorry, she sobbed. So she's asking the grandma why God has to make fathers like this. Here's a clean hanky So, darling, so she's taking a kerchief, hanky means kerchief, and giving for the child to wipe. Blow your nose. She's saying, blow your nose, a dirty thing. Go to sleep, pet. So she's saying, go to sleep, and she's petting her. Okay. You'll forget all about it in the morning. Morning, everything will be washed off. I tried to explain to father, but he was too much upset to listen tonight. So he's not, she's saying, I'm trying to express my love for him, but he's not giving a second, a fraction of second to understand that. But the child never forgot. Next day, she saw him. She quickly put both hands behind her back, and a red color flew into her cheeks. So, because she remembered the shot she had last night, so her cheeks became red, and she put her hands back and she was standing terrified. The MacDonald lived next door. So, the neighbor, she's talking about the neighbor now. So, the neighbor's name was MacDonald. So they had five children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. So she was longing, the young heart was longing and earning. Earning means not EAR, YEAR. So earning for a love like that, she saw how the children of MacDonald, they cling to their father and they were enjoying that evening. Little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. The father with the baby, the last child, Mo on his shoulders. Mo was the name. And two little girls hanging onto his coat pockets ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. She was shaking with laughter. And once she saw the boys turn the hose, the pipe, the water pipe, on him. They're wetting the father and playing. And he tried to catch them, laughing all the time. So he was laughing and enjoying with the children. Then it was she decided there were different sorts of fathers. So the previous night, she asked grandma why God created fathers. They're all terrific Jains. But now, after seeing MacDonald, she changed her suggestion and she understood why God has really made fathers for. But her father was not up to that. Suddenly, one day, mother became ill and she and grandma went to hospital. Now see the plight of the child. She's all alone at home, only with father and a cook, the house cook at home, and she was left with father. Now how terrified and how thing the girl must be. And the little girl was left alone in the house with Alice the cook, though Alice is the name of the cook. That was all right in the daytime, but what about nighttime? Children need mother, right? But while Alice, you can see in the picture of MacDonald is playing, but while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. So Alice, the cook, was putting her to the bed. She was very scared now. What will I do if I get a nightmare? So she's asking the cook, suppose if I get a very scary dream, what I will do? Nightmare means a bad dream. So I often have nightmares and then granny takes me into her bed. So she's saying every time I'll get a bad dream and granny will take me, grandma will take me inside the bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. So whispery means slowly her voice is fading and she starts sleeping. You just go to sleep, child. Alice is saying, okay, don't worry, you sleep. Pulling off her socks, and don't you scream and wake up your poor papa. So she's saying, don't shout and wake up your papa already. A terrified figure. Now what happens? This, see the picture how happily MacDonald is playing with the children, and see this girl Kizia near the fence. She's feeling very sad seeing that. Now see. But the same old nightmare came, the butcher with the knife and a rope. See, terrific dream for a girl who is all alone at home with a what? With the unlikely father who was not an unloved father, who came nearer and nearer, smiling the dreadful smile. So while she could not move, so this is a nightmare. The butcher was coming closer to her, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma, she started shouting. She woke up shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his stand. So there was a candle, lit candle on the stand, and father was next to her. What's the matter? He said, what is the matter? Why are you screaming? Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want grandma. So she is talking in bits, in short, because already she is terrified with the dream and terrified by seeing her father next to her. I want granny. He blew out the candle, bent down, and caught up the child in his arms. So he blew the candle. He takes the girl first time in his arms, carrying her along with the passage to his big bedroom. So he is taking her from her room to his bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, so he threw the paper which he was reading, then carefully tucked up the child. Tucked up the child, making laying the child to lay down. So he lay down beside her, half asleep, still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. So, see, she's connecting her dream with the father's smile, the butcher's smile. She crept close to him. She came slowly crawling to the father, snugged her head. Snugged means rubbing the head under his arms, held tightly to his shirt. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Now she was not scared of the night and she's laying still with her father. Tucked up means covered up nicely in bed. Now here, rub your feet against my legs. Get then warm, said father. Father saying, rub your feet and you can sleep nicely. Now snuggled means moved into a warm, comfortable position close to another person. Now tired out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big. After all, and with no one to look after him. So she's saying, what I imagined about my father, a giant person, he was not like that, but he was a very good one and he was a tender father now. He was harder than grandmother. So he was harder than grandmother means the physique, but it was a nice hardness, but it was a very comforting hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be Mr. McDonald. And she's saying, but he was very tired to be Mr. McDonald. He cannot be so soft like him. She had torn up all his beautiful writings. So she had torn all the beautiful writings. She stared suddenly and sighed. She steered suddenly and sighed. She started steering and she sighed. What's the matter? Asked her father. So the father asked, what's the matter? Another dream? So he asked, are you getting another dream? Oh, said the little girl, my head's on your heart. So she's saying, no, father, I've kept my head on your heart. I can hear it going. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father. Dear father, dear, you've got a big heart. I'm keeping my head on your heart and lying down. So that's the lesson about a beautiful girl. So this is the lesson. At the end of the lesson, she understands her father that he also has a very nice soft corner for her, but the time and everything is keeping her aside. So I have given you key points of the lesson. You can go through, read it, and the main points. If you have any doubt, you can text to me. So understood? Don't you can imagine and see how your father is with yourself. Okay? So it's a beautiful lesson. And here along with notes, I hope you are getting all your textual grammars also. All that don't write in your notebook. Please write in your textbooks only. And after that, I think your tenses, no? I've sent a tenses video for you that you must copy. All the grammar videos I'm sending, you must copy in your grammar note. Monday, I will check your notes.